This interview is part of the History Heard project. The content of this interview may be used for historical research. However, no part of the video itself may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized representative of History Heard. Today is July 14th, 2012 at 1 p.m. This is an interview with Mark Cuban in Los Angeles, California. He was born on July 31st, 1958 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Mark Cuban is an internet broadcasting pioneer, entrepreneur, and the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. It's clear that you had an interest and skill in business from an early age. It said that you sold garbage bags door to door at the age of 12. Where did this ambition come from?
I don't know. I think I'm just wired to be an entrepreneur. I mean, as long as I can remember, I've been buying and selling and creating businesses. But I think my dad helped me get my real start selling the garbage bags door to door. He and his friends were playing poker, and I wanted a pair of new basketball shoes. So in between grabbing donuts that they had out there, I asked him, you know, can I get a brand new pair of basketball shoes? And he basically said, when you have a job, you can buy whatever you want, but until then, those shoes in your feet work just fine. And one of his friends piped up that, oh, I got a job for him. I've got these garbage bags that I haven't been able to sell. There was like a box of 100 for $6. He's like, everybody needs garbage bags. You just go around the neighborhood and you can sell them. I'm like, sure, that works. And that was, the rest is history.
It works. And then you seem to have always had an attraction to the technology field.
Yep.
The first big business you started being Micro Solutions. What originally attracted you to technology?
I got a job. I didn't take any real tech classes in college or high school, and I moved to Dallas. I was living with 5 other guys in a 3-bedroom apartment, sleeping on the floor, and so I needed a job. I got a job at night working as a bartender, and I got an interview with a company called Your Business Software. And when he asked me, well, you don't know much about computers, this is when PCs were first coming out. I'm like, either does anybody else, but I promise you I'll learn it faster than anybody else, and that's what got me into computers.
Very cool. And then you truly became a pioneer of broadcasting online, first with AudioNet and then with broadcast.com using full video. Companies transformed the internet experience, and it seems as though they were precursors to popular sites like YouTube and Hulu.
Sure.
What sparked the idea of AudioNet?
It was actually pretty simple. I had sold Micro Solutions and I was going to retire. I just invest in technology companies and do whatever. And then one of my buddies from college, Todd Wagner, came to me and said, look, there's got to be a way that living in Dallas, we can listen to Indiana University basketball games. You're the geek, figure it out. And at that point in time, DirecTV had just launched. There were no regional sports networks. Most games weren't on television, so if an Indiana game was not on national television, the best we could do was have a friend, and we literally did this, hold up a speakerphone or a phone to the radio, and then we would listen from a speakerphone on the other side, and that's how we listened to IU games. And so I'm like, you know what, I think I might be able to figure this out. So I bought a PC, I bought an ISDN line, put it in the 2nd bedroom of my house, and spent, I think, a total of $3,000, and went to work and found a company who had written software for streaming, but it didn't all work, and so we helped them figure out how to make it work. And the next thing you know, AudioNet was born. We launched the website and had no idea whether it would work or not. Went to a local radio station, put it on there, and it was funny because, and it seems crazy now, we literally bought a $29 VHS machine and took it down to the radio station, and we would connect it up, the output of the radio station board, into the audio input of the VCR, and then from there we would connect it to a computer and encode it, and from there we would put it on a website, which is so convoluted compared to today, but we started getting emails from around the world the minute we launched AudioNet, and then from there it just took off, and that literally was the beginning of streaming on the internet.
So you had no idea the impact that idea would make?
None. I mean, within probably 60 days, we knew we had something special because we were getting emails from around the world. The radio station was having people call in and saying they were watching in these crazy places, and we knew that we had something then.
And you've made history in many ways throughout your career. You really were the leader in online audio and video, and you then created the first exclusively HD channels with HDNet and HDNet movies. You're also the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, a TV star on Shark Tank, and an entrepreneur. What links all of these? Are they connected to or do you just dabble in businesses you like?
I think I learned what my strengths and my weaknesses are. You know, I'm horrible at dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I mean, I always have partners who are very anal, who can figure that stuff out. But what I'm good at is just diving into technology and figuring out what new technologies, what applications they may have. So whether it was streaming, before that when I had Micro Solutions, we were one of the first companies in the country to do local area networking, connecting PCs together. We were one of the first to use collaborative software. So my whole career had been about doing things first. And with HDNet, when everybody else was saying high-def televisions were too expensive, would never take off, I was like, they're just like PCs. They're going to fall in price, improve in performance. And people were calling me an idiot, which is usually a good sign. You know, why would anybody watch? And next thing you know, high-def televisions are everywhere, and it was no big deal. So now I'm working on whatever comes next.
Very cool. And then, which do you prefer, conceiving the idea and creating the business based upon it, or watching the expansion of that business and the impact on the world that idea had?
Both. I mean, because when you create the idea, that's when you get that really cool feeling where you know, okay, there might be something here, but the idea is easy. And when you actually create and run and grow the business, that means you're doing something that other people typically can't do. Operating a company is far, far more difficult than conceiving the idea. So I think I like creating ideas, but I think I take a little bit more personal satisfaction in watching an idea germinate and turn into a real business.
And then, if you had one piece of guidance to give to high school students, what would it be?
Graduate. From a business perspective, I'd say, you know, everybody's got ideas. Everybody does. The challenge is in doing the work. That if you're going to start a business, recognize there's some other kid in another school that's out there looking to have the same idea and just kick your butt. Or even if you're first out with the idea, who's going to try to steal your idea, and not steal your idea, but it's going to try to outdo you at the same thing. Even I think about it today. You know, Allie or one of your classmates, you know, has an idea that may beat my ideas, and so I've got to hustle, I've got to stay ahead. And so I guess that's a long way of saying is the idea isn't the hard part. Raising money isn't the hard part. It's really putting in the work to be prepared to turn it into a business. That's the hard part. And if you keep that in mind and really do the work and really try to be the smartest person that in the world about your business and your idea, then you'll be successful.